Okay, so this is chapter 2 test review. So for number 1, you have to identify what the relationship is between this angle and this angle. So whenever you're looking at these two angles, they are both in the same exact location, just slid to the next intersection. So these, if you look at your vocabulary from 2.6 with all the vocabulary words, these are corresponding angles. They are the same exact measure. They're both obtuse. If I knew this was 100 degrees, I could also say that angle 2 is 100 degrees. Number 2 is the same type of, I'm making a YouTube video. Number 2 is the same type of problem, but the numbers are in a different section of the same picture. So they are here and they are here. Now remember, think about your parallel lines kind of like a sandwich. They're on the outside of the parallel lines. So they're on the exterior. And then you have to decide if they're on the same side of the transversal or if they are on opposite sides of the transversal. So in this case, they're across the transversal. So they're alternate and they're on the outside of the sandwich or the parallel lines. So these are alternate exterior angles. They are also congruent if I knew their angle measures. For question number 3, we have to find the value of x. So I'm given this picture. These two angles are below my line. I know that in total, they're making a straight line, and a straight line adds to make 180 degrees because together these angles form a straight line. So I could do piece plus piece equals whole. So this is angle addition postulate. So I could do 4x plus 7 plus 2x plus 5 equals 180. And now I'm going to combine like terms. 4x and 2x make 6x. Positive 7, positive 5 make positive 12. Bring down equals 180. And now I'm going to move my 12 to the other side. The opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm minus 12, minus 12. If I take 180 and I subtract 12, I don't even know what I get. 168. I'm having a brain fart. 6x equals 168. And then I'm going to divide by 6 to both sides. Divide by 6. So x equals, I should be using a calculator. Okay, x is 28. If it said plug back in or find the angle measure, I would have to substitute it back in. But in this case, I just need x. So I'm done with that one. For question 4, it's the same thing. Find the value of x. I have to determine what I know about these angles. If I look, I have this top angle and I have this bottom angle. These are called vertical angles. They're across at the intersection from each other. I know that they are both the same measure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them equal to each other. So I could do 10x plus 1 equals 12x minus 5. And now I can either move the 5 or I can move the 1. I'm going to add 5 to both sides because the 5 is negative. So I'm going to say plus 5. Bye, have a good weekend. Plus 5. So I have 10x plus 6 equals 12x. And now I have to combine my x's. So since I have a slash on the right side, I'm getting rid of something on the left side. I have to get rid of the 10x. It is positive, so I'm going to subtract 10x to both sides. So I have 6 equals 2x. And then now I divide by 2. So x equals 3. So I'm going to put this here. Once again, I don't have to plug it back in because all I'm looking for is x, so I don't have to do any more. Question 5 is a picture of an angle. We have 3 angles. We have an acute angle, we have an acute angle, and then we also have the whole angle in itself. So we have a still acute, but in total. So I'm going to put what I know in my picture. Just put it in 7th period bin. The measure of angle TUV. TUV is this whole measure. The whole measure is equal to 9x plus 1. I'm also going to plug into my fixture TUW. TUW is 7x minus 9. And WUV is 5x minus 11. And now this is angle addition postulate. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to add it to this piece, and I'm going to set it equal to the entire length, or like arc, or whatever. Okay. So 7x. Sorry, I have a kid staring at me in here. It's just me and her. Akko taco. So plus 5x minus 11 equals 9x plus 1. Since on the left side of my equation, I have 4 terms, I can combine like terms. I have 7x and 5x. I'm going to bring together. 7x plus 5x is 12x. If I combine the constants that are also numbers by themselves, I have -9 and -11. So when I bring those together, they're adding to make a negative number because they are both negative. -9 plus -11 is -20 equals 9x plus 1. And now I have terms that I cannot combine, so I'm going to move across my sign. So I'm going to add 20 and add 20. So I have 12x equals 9x plus 21. And since I have a slash on the left, now I'm looking for something on the right that can move. My 9 will be able to combine with my 12. 9 is positive, so I'm going to subtract 9. Subtract 9. 3x equals 21. And then I'm going to divide by 3. Since it just wants x again, it says find the value of x. I'm done with question 5. If it said plug it back in, I would have to plug it back in. So 6, this one's a little bit different. This one tells me something specific that I need to know in the directions. It says if ray EF bisects AED, and I know AEF is 4x plus 3, and I know FED is 7x minus 33, I have to find the angle measure. Since I know it bisects it, it actually cuts it perfectly in half. So whatever this angle ends up being, that's the same as going to be this angle. They're both congruent. Notice I don't know the entire angle. So I cannot do piece plus piece equals whole. I don't know that. So I have to do this equals this because they are congruent. So 4x plus 3 equals 7x minus 33. Sorry, I can't sit and talk. Okay. Yeah, sure. They can't see him. Do you want to say hi to them really quick? Yeah, I want them to show you. Wait, why? Wait, what? Are you ready? Yeah. Oh, it's probably super zoomed in.
Yeah.
Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Oh, you're upside. Bye.
Bye YouTube channel.
Bye. Okay. Bye. Have a good weekend. I know people keep telling me that. I'm gonna try to talk my husband into it. Okay, bye. So I set them equal to each other. They're congruent. So now I get to choose what I want to move. You can either -3 to both sides, or you can add 33 to both sides. It doesn't matter. I'm going to move the 33 because it says -33. So it'll be easier to add 33 to both sides. But you'll get the same answer if you subtract 3 instead. So I have 4x plus 36 equals 7x. Since I have a slash on the right, there's something on the left that needs to move. I'm going to move the 4x. It's positive, so I will subtract 4x to both sides. 36 equals 3x. Divide by 3. So x equals 12. But I'm not done. And this is what I mean. It says find the measure of angle CEB. So if I start at C and I go to E and I go to B, that's talking about this bottom angle. It's talking about this whole thing right here. Boop, boop, boop. CEB is here. I know that it's vertical to this whole angle together. They're vertical angles. So what I'm going to do is I can do this one of two ways. I could plug this in to one of the angles. And then since I know that they are congruent, I could put that same number here and here and then add them together. Or I could literally take this and plug in X, which I'll probably just do because why not? So I'm doing 4x plus 3 because this equals 4x plus 3 plus 7x minus 33. It's both of those angles combined. So I'm going to plug in X to both of those angles combined. So I have 4x plus 3 plus 7x minus 33. So I have 4 times 12 plus 3 plus 7 times 12 minus 33. So if I do 4 times 12, 48 plus 3, 7 times 12 is 84. If I combine, just going straight across, 48 plus 3 plus 84 minus 33, I get 102 for the entire angle. Meaning this obtuse angle is 102. If I split it in half, this is 51 and this is 51 because they're both congruent. 51 plus 51 adds to make 102. It's splitting in half because it's a bisector. The actual answer to this question is 102 because it wants to know this angle CE. What letter is that? B, CEB. Okay, so let's go to 7. 7's probably the hardest problem on the whole review. Just because it's words and people are like, ew, there's words in math. What are we gonna do? So this says, this is number 7. It says the measure of P is 5 less than 4 times Q. P and Q are supplementary. Supplementary means to add to make 180. Remember the S makes it 8. That's how you remember it. So find the measure of P. So if I draw a picture, I know I have 2 angles in total that need to make 180. I don't know anything about Q. It says P is 5 less than 4 times Q. If I call Q X, one of the angles is just X because I know nothing about it. But comparing the larger angle to the smaller angle, I know that P is 5 less than 4 times this amount. 4 times something is 4x. 5 less than 4 times that is minus 5. So this is 4 multiplied by x, 5 less than this. And I know the other angle I'm comparing it to, I know nothing about, so I just called it x. Together, they are supplementary. So I'm going to do 4x minus 5 plus x equals 180. And now I can combine like terms. 4x and 1x make 5x. And now I'm going to add 5. 5x equals 185. And then I'm going to divide by 5. So x equals 37. Now it says find the measure of P. P is the angle that's 5 less than 4 times the measure of Q. So I'm going to plug 37 in to this angle. 4 times 37 minus 5. 4 times 37 is 148. And minus 5 is 143 degrees. Oops, sorry. So this angle is worked out over here. I just took my x 37 and I plugged it in. 8 says if L is parallel to M, so these are the new things, find the value of x. So I need to figure out what type of angle these are based on the type, then I know if I'm setting them equal to each other or if they're adding to make 180. So if I look, these are both obtuse angles. They're in the same exact location on a different intersection. These are called corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are congruent to each other. They're both the same measure. So I could do 8x plus 20 equals 11x minus 31. And now I'm going to pick what I want to move. I'm going to subtract 20, subtract 20. So I have 8x equals 11x minus 51. And then I'm going to subtract 11x to both sides. 8 minus 11 is 3x. And 8 minus 11, sorry, is negative 3. Then I'm going to take 51, negative 51, and I'm dividing by negative 3. The negatives will cancel. So x equals 17. On to the backside. The backside was flipped. On the backside, number 9, same type. I have parallel lines cut by transversal. They're not in the same place. They're not corresponding angles. They are on the outside. Think about your parallel lines as like a sandwich. They're on the outside of the sandwich, and they're on opposite sides of each other. They're alternate exterior angles. This is an acute angle. This is also an acute angle. These are congruent to each other. So I'm going to do the same thing. Do 11x minus 3 equals 4x plus 39. And now I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to move my minus 3. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I have 11x equals 4x plus 42. And then I'm going to move the 4x across. I'm going to minus 4x minus 4x. I get 7x equals 42. And I divide by 7. So x equals 6. Because it says find the measure of x or the value of x, I'm done. 10 is similar. We have parallel lines cut by a transversal. These are both on the interior of each other. They're on the interior of the parallel lines. The parallel lines are like a sandwich. They're on the inside of the sandwich. And they're on the same side of the transversal together. So these are not the same. They are not equal. This angle is significantly smaller than this angle on this side. So since they're not the same, I'm going to add them to make 180 because they are supplementary. 2x and 9x make 11x. Negative 8 and negative 10 make minus 18. So now I can add 18 to both sides. And then I divide by 11. Once again, it just says find the value of x, so I don't have to do any more. For 11, 11 uses a fancy term that we need to know what it means. So it says, if SV upside down capital T, that means perpendicular. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. So if SV, where's SV? SV is here. SV is perpendicular to RT, meaning that it's creating a 90-degree angle. These are 90-degree angles, both of them. You have STV that's a 90-degree angle and RSV that's 90 degrees because this line is perpendicular to this, meaning it's completely making a 90-degree angle. We know RSU is 17x minus 3, and UST is 6x minus 1. I need to find each of the missing measures. So, hey, just leave the door open. I'm making a video. No, it's okay. Just leave the door open. Oh. I can't pause it. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So I'm going to take this angle and this angle, and I'm going to add them together to make 180 because it's forming a straight line together. So I can do 17x minus 3 plus 6x minus 1 equals 180 in total because they add to make 180. Oops, there's a 1 there. So if I combine like terms, 17x and 6x is 23x. If I combine my constants, -3 and -1 combined make -4. Remember, when you're combining like terms, you're adding them. So this is -3 plus -1 makes -4. And then I have equals 180 in the back. And then I'm adding 4, 23x equals 184. And then I can divide by 23. So x is 8. Now, not only do I need to find x, but I need to find all these other things. If you only find x, these are each worth their own little amounts of points. Okay, so if you just find x and you can't do the other, then that's okay. You get partial credit. So RSU is right here. I'm going to plug this in. 17x minus 3. So I'm going to do 17 times 8 because x is 8 minus 3. So in a calculator, 17 times 8 gives me 136. Now I'm minusing 3. So I get 133 in total. UST is 6 times x. So times 8 minus 1. So 6 times 8 is 48. Minus 1 is 47. And I could check because these are supposed to be supplementary. So if I add 133 and 47 together, I should get 180 in total, which I do. I just checked. Now the next question, the last actual question on your test, the last two are extra credit. Find the values of x and y. So first, my hint is find x first, then let x help you find y. So I have two things for x. I have this angle and this angle. If I disregard y for right now, they're both on the outside. They're exterior exterior angles, and they're on opposite sides of the parallel line or the transversal. So they're alternate exterior. Alternate exterior angles are congruent to each other. So I'm going to set this piece and this piece equal to one another. So I could do 10x minus 17 equals 8x plus 1. And now I'm going to add 17. What kind of 20? 10x equals 8x plus 18. And now I'm going to minus 8x to both sides. Minus 8x minus 8x. So I get 2x equals 18. Divide by 2. X equals 9. So once I find x, I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it into whatever's going to help me find y. You do one of two things. You can plug x in here, and these will be same side exterior angles, which add to make 180. Or you can plug it in here, and then these are also supplementary because they form a straight line because they're a linear pair. So I'll plug it in here, because I think that's what most people will do. 9 times 8, because this is 8 times x. X is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. And I'm going to add 1. So this is 73 degrees in total is this angle measure. These two combined are a linear pair. So I know that they should add to make 180. If this is 73 then I know that I can take 180 and minus 73. That's going to give me this angle is 107. So because 107 plus 73 makes 180, I'm going to find y. 6y plus 29 equals 107. And now it's a two-step equation. I can minus 29. Six y equals 78. And I can divide by 6. So y is equal to 13. So you have two separate answers for these. The last two are optional. They're extra credit. So if you try them and you get them wrong, it's not going to hurt you. So I think you should always try them. It doesn't hurt to try. The midpoint is the middle of these coordinate points. So midpoint formula is on your reference sheet. Your reference sheet says that you're adding your x's, x1 plus x2, divide by 2, and you're taking your y's, you're adding them together, x1 plus, or y1 plus y2, divided by 2. It doesn't matter which order they go in. You can do y2 plus y1 because you're adding. It doesn't make a difference. So I'm going to take my x's. I have -2, and I'm adding -12, and I'm dividing by 2. -2 plus -12 is -14. I'm dividing by 2. My x value is -7. So this is x. Remember, it's like a coordinate point. I'm going to do the same thing with my y's. 8 and 4. So I'm taking 8. I'm adding 4. I'm dividing by 2. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So my coordinate point for the midpoint in the middle, if I were to plot these on a graph, would be at -7, +6. For the second one, it says, given AB with coordinates A and B, if C lies on AB such that in a ratio of A to C and C to B is 1:5, find the coordinates of C. So this is partitioning. This, you have to change this to a fraction. So my ratio is not 1:5. It's not 1/5. It's 1/6. So this is my R. The formula for this is on my wall in my classroom, but I will write it on here. Zoom in. You're taking your initial x value where you started, you're adding the ratio as a fraction, and you're multiplying by the difference of the x's. So you're taking the first x, you're adding to the ratio multiplied by them being subtracted. So for the x's, is -4. X1 is 2. Okay. So for X1, I'm starting at 2. I'm adding my ratio, which is 1/6, and I'm multiplying by -4 minus 2. So I have 2 plus 1/6, and I have -4 minus 2, which is -6. So PEMDAS for always. You simplified your parentheses. Now I have to multiply, then I'm going to add 2. So if I take 1/6 and I turn it into a decimal, 1 divided by 6 is 0.16 repeating forever. I'm multiplying that by -6. So I get -1. So I'm going to add 2 to -1. So I get +1 as the x value. I'm going to do the same thing for y. The y's formula is the first y added to the ratio multiplied by y2 minus y1. So y1 is -7. That's where I'm starting. I'm adding my ratio, which is 1/6. And I'm multiplying by 12 minus -7. So I'm really adding, because if you're subtracting a negative, it's really adding. If you put a double negative in there, if I do 12 minus 7 makes 7 negative, they know that they're adding it. So 12 plus 7 is 19. So I have -7 plus 1/6 times 19. And now I have to change my fraction into a decimal. 1 divided by 6 gives me this crazy decimal. I'm going to use this whole decimal, and I'm just going to press times 19 because you're allowed a calculator. I get this crazy decimal. So I'm now going to add -7 in the calculator. So I get -3.8333333. So I'm just going to put -3.8. So the part where my point where I partition at, the answer to the extra credit is 1, -3.8. And it doesn't say what to round to. I just rounded to the nearest tenth. If this was like this on your test and you rounded to 4 and you showed your work, then I'm going to kind of correct because I didn't put in the directions what to round to. Okay. Hopefully this helps. You got a test coming up. Study, study, study.